Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're getting out of the house and getting some sunshine, even if you just go to the front yard or the front porch, the backyard. I don't care. It's your business. But try to get some sunshine because we all know sunshine is good for us, but be careful not to let yourself get burnt. Don't have too much of a good thing. The sun keeps going in and out of the clouds today, but that's okay because we're getting some sunlight. They also opened up the road to Denali to go to Mountain Vista area. It's a good chance to get out and do some walking. It's a good chance to get out and see some sunshine and enjoy some time out of the buildings. Today we're going to deal with a topic that you may be experiencing right now, and that is of fear. I have to admit, I have been afraid in my life multiple times. And I do foresee me being afraid again before I pass away. And a lot of people will say, oh, if you have fear, then you just don't have faith in God. No, the Bible does talk about us not being afraid, but nowhere does it say you don't have faith if you're afraid. If someone's trying to kill you, trying to do you physical harm, shooting at you, it's natural and normal to be afraid. I have been there. Don't like it. Don't want to go back. But what the Bible is talking about in fear is when it says do not fear is a crippling fear, a fear that prevents you from doing what you're supposed to do, a fear that prevents you from living your life. Psalms chapter 56 verses 1 through 4 says, "Be gracious to me, O God, for man tramples on me. All day long an attacker oppresses me. My enemies trample on me all day long, for many attack me proudly. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose words I praise. In God I trust. I shall not be afraid. What can flesh do to me?" Who wrote this? Well, it's none other than David. David the mighty warrior. David the mighty warrior king. David the priest king. David who messed up repeatedly and sought God's favor and asked for forgiveness. That David. Yeah, the David that had somebody murdered. The David that repented. The David that had problems because of sin. And he is talking about being afraid. There are three things going on here in this passage of Scripture. One is the busy malice of the foes. People were after David to kill him. People were after David to do him harm. And he said that they oppress him daily, all day long. And not only do they do it, they have pride in what they're doing. They are excited to be giving David a hard time. And that's true of life. A lot of times people take delight in making our lives miserable. But what do we do when we have people who delight in making our lives miserable? Do we cower? No. Lord, no. No. We do what David did, which is the second thing going on in this passage of Scripture. We have the malice of the foes, and we have the effort of the psalmist who, when he got afraid, put his trust in God. Now, there's a difference between trust and a difference between belief. If I could borrow from Dr. Carol Alexander yesterday, one of my teachers in class, she was talking about the difference between belief and trust. And she used the analogy of the tightrope walker who kept going back and forth with a royal audience. And he finally put a bag of potatoes in a wheelbarrow and walked across the tightrope and came back. And he asked him, "Do you believe that I could do this with a person in the wheelbarrow?" And they said, "Oh yeah, we believe you can do it." And then he says, "Then get in the wheelbarrow." And they said, no. They believed he could do it, but they didn't trust him to do it. See, we have to put our trust in God, knowing that he will do it for us. As I've said before, we could pray the prayer of that guy talking to Jesus, "Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief, help my trust." So the third thing going on in this passage of Scripture is the power of God. The psalmist David trusts in the power of God when he's being oppressed. when he is afraid. And the thing about the power of God that we need to remember is, one, this is the same God that created everything that is. So that's a lot of power. And two, he is able to do more than we can possibly imagine when it comes to things in this world, in this life. So do we just believe in him, or do we trust in him? If we just believe that he exists, then yeah, we're going to live in fear. But if we trust in the Lord, then we don't have to live in fear. Have a good one.